Hello.
Welcome to the Comic-spiracy episode 614 for the week of Monday, May 6th, 2024. My name is Ryan Higgins, who's here this week with me.
Brock Sager.
Kevin.
Lane.
Toby should be joining.
And maybe potentially Tobias.
Toby should be joining. I want to hear about his adventures at Shortboxed, the local comic convention here. Longbox, Lane, that is your name. Are you starting a competing convention across from the Shortbox convention called Longbox?
No. But it does feel like all my short boxes are turning into long boxes these days.
Picking up a lot of comics, huh? Well, we'll give Toby some time. If not, Lane, you could tell us about your adventures at Shortbox. Hey, we're here for like normal...
important news tonight.
We do. We're here for like a normal ass episode. It's incredible. I haven't had one of these in a long time.
I know we were sick beforehand.
A lot of good feedback on our previous couple episodes. We did some interviews, so it was super cool. Kevin, thank you for pitching in, taking care of one of those interviews while I was sick. We're not something
I was
we
there
had planned
too.
to do.
I just scared the crap out of them at the end.
You literally jumped into the podcast. Like I hit record, was like turning off my monitor, and I saw Brock's name pop up, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess Brock's on this podcast too. So some good times there. So haven't had a good interview in a while. We've had like 3 in the last couple weeks. So, but no, this is just a regular, normal, boring old episode of the Comic-spiracy podcast. Let me go back to my list of topics here, and we'll talk.
Let's start with the most boring one.
What's the most boring one, Brock? You tell me what's the most boring one.
For this week?
Yeah, sure. What is the most boring of my selected topics? Of course, you as a wonderful host of the podcast can also add your own topics here.
Yeah, that requires me to do other stuff. Let's see. Probably the Aliens versus Avengers coming in 2024.
You want to start with that? Start with Aliens versus Avengers, and there's actually more news than just this Aliens versus Avengers when it comes to the story. But I will. We can talk about it all together here. There's going to be an Aliens comic. We haven't had a Aliens crossover comic in a while because of all the licensing stuff that goes back and forth. But there's going to be an Aliens versus Avengers comic. So this is the second of the Marvel Fox crossover ones. We had the Wolverine Predator, now Aliens versus Avengers, and it's about Jonathan Hickman too. So that's big. It seems like a weird book for him, but that's cool.
I mean, I'm half expecting a xenomorph to bust out of Hulk's chest, and then they have a Hulk xenomorph. Like,
that'd be cool.
Gamma morph. I don't know what to call it.
Oh, and Asad Rebik's doing the art, of course. It's 4 issues coming in
July.
Does it even say? Does
it's July 2024.
Yeah, it starts in July. Yeah, it starts in July. Now, what is interesting is something else came up recently about Aliens. Long out of print, Warren Ellis's Stormwatch run is going to get reprinted in a compendium. And there's an issue missing. And that is the final issue, or one of the final issues. And that is the Wildcats Aliens crossover, which is the death of Stormwatch and the spoilers and the start of Authority. So, like, it sucks that book is not being reprinted because that's kind of important to the Stormwatch and the Authority. It's like one of the final parts, so that sucks. Marvel, Sony, come on.
Well, okay,
or Fox. Let's. You guys are friends now. Let's get that. Let's get the Aliens Wildcats book reprinted in the Stormwatch Omni, please.
Well, what's funny about it is Marvel and DC are agreeing to do the Marvel and DC crossover stuff finally, right?
Yeah.
Why is this an issue?
I don't know. It's weird. I have to assume DC asked and we're told no. I can't imagine they wouldn't just not do it. But yeah, it's a little bit weird.
Oh, no, I can imagine them not doing it. Marvel and DC have been petty forever.
I don't know, but I mean, they got the omnibus coming from Marvel and DC.
Yeah, but how long does that take?
when you have like Punisher versus Archie, like obviously nothing important is going to happen in that. The like continuity effects. The Stormwatch Wildcats is like a rare.
Where they
I
used
guess
it.
Yeah, they did like the Teen Titans X-Men crossover is maybe kind of canon-ish. Like there's a couple of those books where they. I'm sure the idea is make this as reader friendly as possible, but yeah, that Stormwatch Aliens was.
Oh no, they're going to have a bloody version. It's going to come polybagged
because of the Aliens vs. Avengers.
Yeah, because of the success of the Blood Hunt ones.
They might. They could.
That everything they're going to do everything mature and have all this extra stuff in it and try and double sell you books.
Why not? I mean, sure, whatever. They're doing. I think there's a Werewolf by Night that's going to be
scratching.
In the new Fury book is Max. I mean, they actually brought back the Max label for the new Nick Fury miniseries. So haven't had a Max book. I don't even know when. 7 years, something like that. I can't remember the last time they put something under the Max label. So good on Marvel for doing something that's, hey, yeah, we can have something that's more mature. It's it's fine. Like, we're adults. It's okay.
I thought Buena Vista was going to release it.
Maybe
they should copy the Wildcats and have the aliens kill the was it the Jurassic Avengers?
Kill some random team.
The Jason Aaron, the old one, the Odin, and from the weird dinosaur riding Ghost
Jason
Rider.
Aaron run. Yeah. Killed the old Ghost Rider and the original Phoenix and all that.
See, that's the prequel Aliens versus Avengers book that's coming in 2025. Yeah. And then they're going to do the Aliens versus the Old Man Logan Avengers in 2026.
Well, as long as they explain that the aliens and Brood are actually from the Brood are just an offshoot from the Xenomorphs, then we can finally just call it canon and move on, right?
Oh man!
Then we get Predator versus Brood.
Yeah, Predator versus Brood. There you go.
Hey, Marvel, we need some kickback for these ideas, by the way.
In case you don't know, the Brood are the aliens. They just filed serial numbers off. John Byrne and Claremont were like, yeah, sure.
Didn't the Brood come before Aliens?
No, it came out. No. It was that issue with the Kitty Pryde alone in the mansion, and that was like a year after Alien.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, the Brood are 100% just stole.
Yeah.
They're just aliens. They're just
They're just cockroach aliens, basically.
Yeah. That's it's not even even attempting to hide it.
If you read interviews with Byrne, he talks about how when they were working on that book together, every time Claremont would see something in a movie theater he really liked, it'd be like, oh my God, we got to work this in somehow into the comic.
Nice.
Just steal it for the next and do it in the next issue. Yeah. That's cool. They have to bring that up, right? I mean, they have to. Or maybe they want to be like, can we sue ourselves for something we formerly did? Maybe Fox doesn't know the Brood exists. I don't know.
Oh, they know they exist.
See, that's the problem, right? Man, the Brood would be a great villain in the MCU. That would be an awesome horror, like forget like involving the X-Men. Just an alien infestation against the Avengers would be a killer movie. I can't get all this garbage out of here. Just give me the Avengers versus the Brood for 2 hours.
You want Starship Troopers Avengers?
Just slaughter a bunch of shitty characters nobody cares about, and you dump some of that dead weight, and just have I don't know who sucks in the Marvel. You can go kill all the Eternals. The Eternals can all just get fucking xenomorphed and
Ryan, it sounded cool when you started saying it, but now you veered into a massive army of CGI creatures and a huge battle. And it's just like, no, not that though.
Oh, okay. Well, how about this? How about we get the Kitty Pryde alone in the X-Mansion against a single Brood?
Yeah. Great.
And then the follow-up sequel, which is an army of Brood against the invading. They're on like the sword spaceship, right, on the moon, and then you just get the army of.
So you're basically just modeling Alien and Aliens, but just in the MCU.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
See, I would go more of like the Brood are trying to get our help in the war against the Chitauri.
Then the third one can be actually, I think actually kind of halfway decent, just kind of a rehash. And the fourth one can suck really bad. And
the third one, if you're following the Alien series, would be on that raft prison.
It'd be on the raft. There you go. Yep. It writes itself, Kevin. Writes itself. Yeah. You don't even have to try that hard.
That key is that last sentence you just said.
They'll have AI write it anyway.
That's all. That's what it would do. It would just steal the plot from the other Alien movies. So yeah, I don't know. Aliens vs. Avengers sounds kind of fun. That seems fun. If you are looking, why don't we do another crossover since we're talking about it? Marvel has had a string of extremely successful variant covers for Amazing Spider-Man the past year and a half. Featuring marveled versions of the Fab Five and friends, if you will.
I would more call it Disney cosplaying as Marvel characters.
Mickey and Donald and Daisy and Minnie and Goofy and all that stuff. But
they're cosplaying.
Everyone would pick up the comic and go, "Wow! Oh, it's just a cover. Oh my God, look at this. Oh, it's just a cover." So it took them a year and a half, but they were like, we should actually just make this a real book. And they have. And the first one is, what if Donald Duck became Wolverine? And you know what? Cool, fine. There is a bit of weirdness to this, but at the same point, this will also sell a fucking shitload, so I'm okay with it. This is the fun stuff you can do. I don't want Donald Duck in the Marvel comics. But sure, if you're going to do something, this is the way to do it. You do these fun little mashup characters. Totally okay. I don't need this to be an ongoing thing. I don't need 12 series. I don't need a million of these things forever. The joke can get very old very quickly. But if you're going to do it, this is what you do. There's that Uncle Scrooge book coming out for Marvel. Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime. And now this one. So one of the stupidest things has been Disney's just complete inability to put out any sort of ongoing Disney comics for years. IDW did it for a little while, but it just didn't. It was all reprinted. It didn't mostly reprints, and it didn't really stick. It was hugely popular for decades, especially overseas, and it's just crazy to me that we do not have regular ongoing Disney comics.
Even just digest stuff.
Every other year, some other shitty license, and they switched it up all the time. And there was that Joe's Books that fell apart. They moved over to Dark Horse for a while, and they put out a smattering of them. Now they're at.
Well, we have the villains right now.
There's So we have finally a decent amount. We have the villains line and the kind of the heroes and villains line at Dynamite. So there's a Hercules one that just came out, and they're doing the Lilo and Stitch comic. Those are all short runs, but at least they're real comics featuring these characters. And now we're getting the mashup ones from Marvel and Disney. It's still crazy to me that we don't have a Donald and Mickey comic, but at least there's something regular, normal comic books featuring Disney characters. It's just crazy that we haven't had these hardly at all. Baby steps, but we're getting there. So, but it looks fun. And if you're gonna do it, sure, Wolverine and Donald Duck. That's your popular comic book characters. Donald is by far and away the most popular of the Disney when it comes to the comic series. So. It's a smart move. I know whether it sells outside the United States is a different question, but it's at least a smart move here to try to do something.
Speaking of smart moves, DC returning to Wednesdays.
Yeah. I have a trio of old things coming back that I want to talk about here. So this is going to be my next topic.
That's also a smart idea too.
Yeah. Well, this was announced at Comics Pro a couple months back, but we finally have the official dates. So DC Comics will be returning to their official Wednesday release dates, July 3rd, 2024, with the sale of Absolute Power #1, which means the first, I believe, I can actually look it up. I'm doing it live. Let me look it up.
13th, it'll probably be the second to last week of June.
Yeah, I'm just looking up on FSC for Absolute Power. Number 1 is no. It'll be before that. It'll be the end of May, beginning of June. FOC is June 2nd. So I have June 2nd. So maybe it's that's Ground Zero. Yeah. Absolute Power 1 is the 10th, which is June.
Which is
10th, which is Monday. So I have. Let me see here. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 more Sunday FOCs before we return to everything being done on Monday.
Nice.
So since COVID, we've had to order DC products on Sundays and everything else on Mondays. To do it easy, I just do all the Lunar, which is the distributor for DC, on Sunday, which now includes Image. And a couple other companies. And then Monday I do Penguin Random House and Diamond. But I can finally go back to just doing it once. So no work on Sunday. My Sundays are back to being actual days off. So, hooray. So 4 more FOCs. And so that's, what do we got? 1, 2, 3. So 5 more. 5, 6, so 8 more Tuesday releases for DC. Of course, we don't do it. We just do Wednesday releases. But if your shop's doing a Tuesday release, they're gonna need to stop. So it'll be interesting to see if stores don't. I mean, I know some stores do the Tuesday and love it. I mean, whatever. I'm happy it's going back to Wednesday. I get it. I get why they did it. At least I believe I know why they did it. I don't know if they've ever officially confirmed it, but I have a pretty good idea of why they moved to Tuesday releases.
They got to sync it up for that marketing, baby.
Yeah, so books are
nobody
Tuesday.
Likes to put 2 release dates on announcements.
Correct. Media is Tuesday, and what's happened for years is that graphic novels would come out on comic book stores on Wednesdays, and then the following Tuesday they would be released in Barnes & Noble and Amazon and stuff. And so for all these graphic novels, there was always, comic stores got them 6 days early, but there was confusing marketing around the release dates of graphic novels. I don't
know how it was confusing. I would look up on Amazon when stuff would come out and go, we'll probably get it the week before.
Yeah. Well, DC is publishing an article or a tweet or something that says, this comic's out now. Well, people are like, my Amazon says it doesn't show up till next week. Or the reverse, they say it's out now, and they're like, well, I got this last week in my comic shop. What's the deal with that? So they normalized everything. So as of now, so the funny, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, but what I find is actually kind of funny is, Technically, all graphic novels are now available on Tuesdays, so comic shops are all getting them a day late if you do Wednesday release. DC graphic novels will continue to have a Tuesday release day because that's Penguin Random House and the book market. So we're going from 6 days early to on time to now 1 day late if we maintain them. But for most comic shops, graphic novel sales are not the majority of their sales if they're a more single issue Marvel DC focus shop like ours. So, most people don't care. Happy to go back to Wednesdays. Happy to see that back.
But they might care about a couple things coming out graphic novel wise.
Well, here we go. Okay, we got 3 polls.
Oh, Brock, Mr. Segue.
Hey,
you read the topics this week.
I threw the looking glass here. What the hell's going on?
Okay. So I have 3. One of them's already announced, obviously, but we'll get to we'll get some more information on this here. While we were doing our interviews on a little bit of a break, we got the final artwork for the Jim Lee variant covers for the DC vs. Marvel and the Amalgam omnibuses. People have thoughts on them, which I mostly agree with. I actually think the Amalgam cover is way better, despite the characters obviously being the Amalgam characters.
Wait, there is thoughts on these, like bad thoughts?
Oh yeah. Some people aren't thrilled with the Marvel vs. DC cover. I wonder if some of these little things will be changed. I saw some complaints on the main Jim Lee cover, just some of the positioning of the characters. But to me, I'm like, look, I'll take a Jim Lee mashup cover like this over 99.9% of the covers on the market these days. I am totally fine with it. I think the posing and action of the Amalgam cover is just a better cover. But
yes,
I'm not complaining about the Jim Lee cover. So yeah, these are obviously, the first time Jim Lee has officially drawn any of these characters in in published material in decades. So, I don't complain. It's like, I don't know.
Well, I find it weird that like there's Wonder Woman and Wonder Girl.
Yeah, because the Teen Titans. I mean, so it's all the same. It's all the.
It's Teen Titans, X-Men, and then the crossover. The cross to the Daredevil, Batman.
Yep.
The Wolverine.
Spider-Man, Superman.
Wolverine, Spider-Man, Superman. The Wolverine and.
Wolverine was just in the X-Men. I mean, and so it's that era costume. So it's the brown costume. It's Storm's costume there. It's So it's Robin and Raven, and so it's that era of those characters. Yeah, so I'm super excited for these. So the poll for this one. Now that we have all the cover art, are you guys in on the omnibuses? And if so, which cover? Which cover are you going for? Let's start with Brock.
I already pre-ordered both Jim Lees.
Both Jim Lees. Okay, you got it.
I'm like a couple of the other ones. I'm like, why did you even make this cover?
The Justice League, the Marvel DC one's a classic cover. The Amalgam one, it's Amalgam. It is what it is. It's that's cover of one of the other trades.
But Kevin. I think they have 3 each.
No, two each.
Is it 2? Okay.
Yeah, there's the standard cover. Then the Jim Lee are the DM exclusive, so comic store only. So make sure so these were available to pre-order this week from Penguin Random House and next week from Lunar. So if you want these, I highly recommend ordering them from your local comic shop, because you cannot get the Jim Lee covers on Amazon or any of the mass market stuff. So I expect these will sell quickly.
The better question is, how many is Comics Conspiracy ordering?
Well, let's go down, Kevin.
This is how he's figuring out his number.
You just not on the Omni.
Man, I remember when
not an Omni.
I was standing in the store the last time, and I told you I was holding an Omni in my hands and said, "Do not ring me up for this. Do not let me."
You're Omni curious.
I have a shelf of omnibus, a shelf of omnibuy, and I have room for exactly one more book on that shelf before something has to be cut. So I'm going to be super picky. Honestly, probably not getting these because I have the treasuries of those original ones. I have the original X-Men Teen Titans printing, and it's just because I've bought those things as they came out. I'm talking about that main book, the first one, not the Amalgam.
Yeah.
So probably not. Just because I have everything, and it's easier to read for me that way. But if I was getting it, I'd probably get the Perez cover.
Yep. I did a good job on that Perez cover, too. It's recolored nice. I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, but it's really good. Lane?
Give me a poster of the covers. I'll take that.
You're not an Omni bro either.
Well, it's less about the omnibus than I'm the center of the group. I actually never really liked Amalgam.
Yeah,
I read them all back in the day, and I just didn't find them as interesting.
Let's be honest. Amalgam isn't great, but it's interesting. I've
never read it.
Unique,
and there are some really fun ones, but they're not all. Yeah. They're not all great. No way.
Yeah.
But it just makes it hard to justify having to buy all of them when I only like maybe one of them.
To me, it is not the quality; it's what it is, because they just don't do things like this. And the fact that this got done once is unbelievable. So it's not that it's great, it's just that it's never going to happen again. So I will take a collected version. I mean, I have all the singles, but I will take a collected version because that's just it. They just won't do this again. I can't
I'll even take the George Perez ones. Those are awesome.
I think we all would take the George Perez ones too, for posters.
So without even seeing them, I mean, I said to myself, well, of course I'm getting the Jim Lee covers, but that Perez cover is really nice. I have a, you know, I'd say I'm omni. I'm not a full omni bro, but I'm omni cousin.
Get him as you like him.
Yeah,
get him as you like him.
Yeah,
That's how I am. Get him as you like him.
Yeah. I drew the line when the New Warriors omnibuses were coming out, and I was like, okay, I'm getting the classic cover ones. I refuse to buy a variant cover for an omnibus.
Well, most of those variant ones sucked.
Correct.
Let's be honest.
Correct. Until they release a George Perez and Jim Lee Marvel vs. DC omnibus, and those are my two options. That is a slightly harder choice to make.
So he's buying both.
This might be the point where I break and buy the main and a variant cover for an omnibus.
Whoa.
That's
4 books on your shelf.
They might have got the amalgam one. I'd probably just get the Jim Lee cover. Nothing against the main one is who the heck is it? Dave Gibbons, right? And he drew the main.
Yeah.
He drew the main one.
I think so.
But I it's a great cover. I'm gonna get the Jim Lee cover, but I will see what that George Perez cover looks like in my hands. So yeah, I'm not one to.
Is there any way to request an extra dust jacket?
That would be a great idea. They could just sell some extra dust jackets, and that would.
You need to talk to your people at DC.
I can just wrap it twice and have both, and occasionally flip them around, and
because you'll be seeing only the spine on your shelf, so it won't really matter what covers on it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what these look like when I don't know what the trade dress or any of the stuff's going to look like on these when they ship. So we'll see.
So
I'm excited.
How many are we ordering?
Ooh, I mean the most. So I'm pretty confident the most omnibuses we ever special ordered at launch was for the Jack Kirby Fourth World.
Yeah.
And that would have been like 12 or 15 copies or something like that, which is,
because you had a fair amount of pre-orders.
Yeah, we had a ton of pre-orders. Yeah. Well, yeah, we had most of those are pre-orders. So that was one we hand-sold the hell out of. I mean, we're already at that number for these books plus more. So yeah, this will be, it is going to be a big shipping week when these come in because we're going to have dozens of
Ryan,
them,
I'm going to speak this into the world just for your benefit, just because it would be so awesome. It would almost make me want to buy both of the books if the spines did not match.
Oh, what you mean? Well, I don't know if they're going to because Jim Lee's a wraparound cover.
Like the font size is different. Like you put them side by side and they're not a matching set.
One is a DC style and one is a Marvel style.
Like for the variants of the same book or for the two different books?
Any version.
Any version. Well, I see, because the Jim Lee is a wraparound. The others are not.
Yeah.
So I think they are not going to match. I think they're going to look different.
So, okay. Doesn't that bother you?
Well, I would assume, no. I would assume the Jim Lee ones will have the text over the characters that are on the spine. The other ones will have a more standard-looking spine that don't have any character wrap. So, no. I expect the fonts will be the same. I just think they're going to look physically different.
No, I want the fonts different, and I want it's set slightly higher on one of them than the other.
DC's not perfect these days, but that is a problem they have pretty much fixed. I can't recall the last time I saw. We have the logo, Vertigo, new DC logos. That has been a little bit of still a problem when books get reprinted. They will going to use whatever the current logo is. I understand that. We are like 4/5 of the way through the Karl Barks Fantagraphics collections. And Fantagraphics was like, we're changing our logo on them. So I'm really curious. What are you doing?
Well, no. I just looked at my shelf, and I'm really curious how they're going to pull off volume 16 of Fables hardcover.
Why? Oh, because it finishes
Because
like the art, right?
every single one of them has Vertigo on the bottom.
Yeah, it probably won't have Vertigo.
Well, also the last issue was a trade, not a hardcover, right?
Well,
the trade, it's included in volume 15.
Oh, did they
the
re-include
hardcover's
it?
in there.
Oh, okay, I didn't buy the hardcover.
So it's 15 volumes. They've solicited volume 16, which I think is all 12 of the issues that have come out that have come out since.
Yeah.
But everything on it, including the encyclopedia, has Vertigo on it. Now, the Vertigo on the encyclopedia is black background on like a similar color spine to the other ones, which are the negative, which is like white with Vertigo kind of transparent. So we'll see. But man, hope they don't fuck it up.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Origins of Marvel Comics will get a 50th anniversary re-release and a deluxe edition. This, of all the Marvel classic stuff, is one that I've had requested over and over and over again. This was an old collection that came out that reprinted the first issue of a bunch of classic Marvel.
Oh, you
comics.
whippersnappers! I still have the first printing of that. It was not bought new off the rack, but I do have an edition of the first printing.
Yeah, 1974 originally published. So yeah, it collects some of the Namor, Doctor Strange, FF, Spider-Man, Thor, Hulk.
Yeah, it has like the first issue appearance, and then it has a later one,
like a random,
issue,
right?
deeper in the Silver Age one.
Yeah.
So you get the Daredevil #1, and then you get a Gene Colan random Daredevil after that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in Son of Origins. Sorry. My
Son
bad.
is the second volume, but same idea, right? Where they do other characters. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is a cool one. Not needed for me. I have the epics for the stuff I want, or some of the omnibuses and facsimiles are out there like crazy for this stuff. So this one I expect, will be popular. For sure, a lot of people will pick this up. Not one I personally need, but I do want to see what's in that deluxe edition. There's a hardcover, the paperback version. So there's a couple different versions. So, but what I think is the news, and we don't have a lot of news. We'll get more soon. Of course, it'll probably be tomorrow morning after we record this podcast.
That's how it always happens.
But thanks to podcast favorite Doc Shanner, he published and posted on Instagram that DC Comics will be finally releasing the DC Comics style guide. Whoops, I just lost my thing here. I'm sorry, I just closed my page. Let me get back to it. The Jose Luis Garcia-Lopez 1982. Yes, 1982. I pulled that out of my ass somewhere. DC Comics style guide. This was the internal guide that DC used for all their marketing and toys and merchandising, full character turnarounds. It's all by Garcia-Lopez, one of the greatest artists of all time. Just model sheets and tons of info on these characters. This was an internal thing and something they used for marketing, but it became this legendary collection because it's all original art that's either never used or not used as like covers. It's marketing material and the logos.
Or it would be like the drawing on the Superpowers action figure box.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah. And so
they're doing variants. They're doing variants of some of the stuff inside of it in July.
They're gonna have some variant covers that take some of those pages. Standards Manual is going to be the one releasing this, who does replica manuals of NASA books, and I was looking on their page, a few other things. I've seen these guys pop up from time to time. So the belief here is that this is going to be the actual replica binder with the tarot pages and all the. It's not. Maybe they'll do like a hardcover edition as well, like a more standard like graphic novel collection that kind of dumps it all into like a more standard book. But there is going to be this. Yeah, there is going to be this. This is direct from the site. Reproduced from a rare original copy. It is a 1-to-1 hardcover book featuring the legendary art of José Luis García-López. There is no other info than that, but we are eagerly
coming August 2024,
which is soon. So we are eagerly awaiting this.
It needs to be added to my.
Well, yeah. So I feel like this is something you're going to have to get direct from them, and then if there's like another more standard version, it'll probably come out later. Like the standard, they're like us, like the regular channels.
That sucks.
Yeah. So this might be like the super high end, expensive 1-to-1 binder replica, and then a more standard book version will come out later. I would expect this is not going to be cheap, but we'll see. It's a big fucking binder.
Ryan, how much did you pay for this? Without knowing the price tag, what would be the number? What would be the number where you'd hesitate?
I was looking at some of the other stuff that they had up here. A lot of these are actually not so. That I had read that comment was based on other people's assumptions that this was. It says 1-to-1, but it also says a 1-to-1 hardcover book. So the bind. I'm not crazy, right, Kevin? Yeah. There is a binder version of this, right?
It was like distributed to licensees.
Yeah. Yes. So I this might be a $50 hardcover through them. Looking at the price here of the rest of this, it looks like they're all pretty standard. They look like books. They don't look like binders. But I had seen there is I'm looking at this one here. That's the New York City Transit Authority, and it is a standard book, but the pages inside they still have like the staple holes, right, or the binder holes. So this may be a $50-$60 book through them. That is just flat pages, but it's all in one book. An actual like full replica of the binder, a couple hundred, I would assume. All right. We'll see what the.
I assume it won't be removable. Like, who the hell would want to remove it now? The licensor would be like, well, we just need the Robin page, and we don't need everybody who's working on this to carry around this whole binder. So
back then, that's what it was.
Yeah. But now there'd be no reason to make it that way.
No. Now they send you a big fucking PDF.
Even if you're doing a replica of this, there'd be no reason to have a tear out.
Oh no, but no. What I'm saying is that would be fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, I know.
I've read a ton of comments on this. Some people have said, "Oh, this is going to be, I hope this is the full replica. I hope that, and then this obviously going back and looking at it now, it seems likely it's going to be the book version." So I would wonder if they would do both. I wonder if they would do the replica version. Just as a high-end collectible, couple $100, $200, $250, because that's a lot of work to put something like that together. Scanning the pages and putting it in the book's a lot easier than actually getting the binder and the tarot pages and getting it all assembled correctly. That's way more difficult. So this is probably going to be a $50 or $60 book through that. So that seems likely. So we'll see. But I'm in either way.
Oh, I just joined their wait list.
Yeah. Just for an art book. This is I've seen all these pages. They're scans. You can find them online. They're out there. And every now and again, one would pop up on eBay or something, but pretty rare. So super cool to see this reprinted. Yeah.
That's the book I was telling you about that I actually saw parts of because we were licensor. We were working on a DC video game at my former company.
Yeah. I remember you were talking about this. Was it the same guide or was it a later one? Because there's been others.
I think it's this one because I flipped through. We didn't have. I don't think we had all the pages because I think it was just specifically because we only had licensed to 8 main characters and I think like 7 bad guys. I don't remember seeing too many pages for characters beyond the ones that we requested. But yeah, they were the Jose Luis Garcia pages. I remember that because I saw the signature was on them on some of them.
Oh, nice.
And then they were like huge treatments of logos, and because you had to do it a certain way, and then you had to have the the color treatment. Like you have to use these colors. You can't vary from the colors based on which era, which character.
Yeah.
So all this stuff they have to be really picky about.
Did you bring in the Superman one?
Yeah, I did. That was the extra one that we had.
Yeah.
That got.
I got it. Yeah, you still have that, right?
Yeah.
You have that? Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, so that's another one of those styles. Again, they've had, it's not like they did this once and never again. They do this regularly, but yeah, that Garcia-Lopez one is sort of this legendary piece of art that just most of that never saw. It was never for public consumption. So, I'd love to see more of that stuff released.
Yeah,
but
I want to see the whole thing.
We're finally getting this one. Maybe
this is the one that tests the waters.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like an art book, right? I mean, art books are really popular, and it's just not like this stuff is, you've seen all this before, kind of in some degree, but not in this format, not in its original presented format. So,
exactly, it's unpublished art.
Yeah, the majority of it in published for the comics, because it's used like Kevin said, it was used on all sorts of marketing stuff and toys and promotional stuff, and so it was never done in a book or comic.
It's important for history. I mean, this is a perfect thing to have that, to show what kind of things we had and what we had to deal with back in the day.
Well, I think
before AI destroyed everything.
I mean, Lane, you could talk to this because you work in gaming stuff, and I know it's difficult for a licensee to, they want to control as much or the licensor to control as much of this as possible. But at the same point, you've also got to let the people, there's going to be some concessions in how it's translated to a video game or a toy or underoos or whatever it is. So, in your to whatever you can talk, how was that experience working on any of these licensed things, kind of that translation, specifically with DC or any of the companies? Do you find it was pretty easy, or was it kind of like for whatever you had to do, was it more complex for
the most part? I would join the project after the deal was already made, so I didn't have to do with the initial, I know, from my understanding, the DC project they were working on, that I was working on, was 2-3 years in the making. It took them 2 years just to get DC to agree to the project before they could even start it. And it was a year into the project. Basically, it was originally with another company that we're kind of merging kind of sideways with, and we were basically helping rescue that project that was dying anyway. And then when we took it over, I made a whole bunch of proposals and proposal change for it, but then when they went back to the original licensor, the lawyers, they were like, no, this is the agreement we originally came to, we only want this, and we told them this is garbage based on what the original plan was, but you have to kind of stick to what was in the original agreement, and so we couldn't change a whole lot at that point, even though because we came in a bit late, but we got it done enough, and we got it shipped. I think at that point they understood that the game was kind of this is not anywhere near as good as the original people promised, but let's just get it out there. And so they kind of let us alone toward the end and gave us a little bit more freedom to kind of we had all the assets, but we could kind of just move things around. We kind of had to adjust the so-called storyline of the game because theirs didn't make any sense. They were just throwing things around.
Well, and I think these days too, the companies tend to be a lot more involved. Not all the time, but a lot of companies have people more involved in the production, especially on video games and movies and TV.
Oh, yeah.
Even up until, 10, 15 years ago, that was just not the case. They would just, look at the dawn of video games. They'd be like, yeah, sure, here's Superman, whatever, give us our money, do whatever the hell you want. All right, they didn't care.
No, they cared. So, they would always want to see the product before it ships. It's just that they would always have to give the final check mark. Like, you have to appease their heads.
Yeah, but especially video games, boy, the bar is so low for so long for video game.
Yeah,
video game
more
based
like
on comics.
A lot of times they were just like, "Oh, it looks good. I'm good enough with that." Yeah, just because they didn't know what the technology meant.
Right, but now they have people actually more involved from the companies.
Projects are getting canceled left and right based on their licenses right now, and some of the licenses are even really strict. Like, I know, like, my company was dealing with like a Family Guy. Like, they would make changes all the way up until like if we gave them a 1 month window, they would take like 4 weeks to get back to you.
Yeah.
And things are that tight on schedules and stuff based on some of these license holders. So it's like it's across the board on how they react based on the relationship with the company, really.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, must be tough. But we get to kind of have a bit of a sneak peek into at least what you guys would see, a part, the kind of the whole for this time period, the whole book. So yeah, super excited for that.
I'd be kind of curious. I wonder what they're running with right now. Like, what is the current license material?
I'm assuming we're post New 52 Jim Lee stuff, but on all the Wildstorm redesigns, I don't know who did the last batch of who did like the rebirth and post rebirth design. I wonder if Dan Mora, because he did all those like promo posters. I wonder if Dan Mora did like a bunch of the marketing.
I don't know. I think rebirth was all done by the individual teams.
Right, but like Jim Lee and all the Wildstorm guys did the New 52 costume designs and all that, and you saw those designs regularly outside of DC. But Dan Mora for Dawn of DC, he did all the poster designs and a lot of the character. Those kind of still models. I wonder if he just done more of that. Marvel. I mean, I feel like Disney's got their internal team. I'm sure Marvel doesn't have anything to do with it. I'm sure it's I mean, Disney has their people. That's God of any company out there. Disney, their marketing team or licensing team is going to be one of the biggest on earth. So because they go crazy with this stuff. They're super, super strict for Disney. A couple last stories. Landon, I do want to talk to you quickly about Shortbox, and if Toby jumps on, he can join in too. But before we get to that, we had a couple other stories. We are getting a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, except this one's going to be a little bit different. We are going to get a Last Ronin movie. So a live action Turtles, maybe R-rated. I saw some reports of that. I don't know if that's just guesswork or if we're going to get a PG-13 Turtles. I think that's just more likely. But based on the hit Last Ronin book from IDW, from kind of a early idea by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, that was published recently, is their version of Dark Knight, basically, with the Turtles.
I literally sold my run right before this news dropped.
It's been popular. I mean, it's been a most popular Turtles run in forever.
But I was like,
like,
if I had literally waited like a week or two,
they're still doing offshoots.
Got a little more.
They're continuing the last. Now. Yeah, they're continuing the Last Ronin.
The last Ronin.
Well, the second volume's out now, and we'll see. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to go. I didn't, at least from a couple articles I read, I don't think I saw like official confirmation of rated R. But this is
it's in
targeted
the works, for there yet.
Yeah, targeted for adults. So I'm sure PG-13 at the lowest. Which is cool, and especially live action is neat too. Can't imagine they're going to bring back the suits. I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of CG, but maybe they will bring back the suits. That'd be great. Go back to the ninja rap and all that. Heck yeah.
As long as it's not the Michael Bay one.
Yeah. So that I've seen bits and pieces of it. That just didn't look good at all. It's Michael Bay light. It's kind of in his style of Transformers, but it's not. It just feels too over the top, and yeah, I don't know. I assume it's going to be more like that style, that CG style, which it seems unlikely to be people in suits. But you never know. You never know. But we'll see. I mean, the comic's pretty decent. I've read the first. I don't think I finished it. I read the first issue. I think I only read the first issue. Yeah, I don't think I ever read the rest.
It was fine. I read it.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest Turtles guy, but I'm willing to see where they go with a movie version of it. And finally, one last story, and this came today. This is definitely worth talking about here. We got a new Superman in costume. We've seen it. It's official, or at least as official as we're going to see for now. Costume reveals are always popular. We have
gotta get that hype train started.
Yeah. We're a year and change out from Superman, the
Legacy.
Second motion picture hitting screens, and we now have our full shot of Superman in costume. David Cornsweet, right?
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce his last name. It's looks like a Superman costume to me. I know some complaints about, we're talking about the New 52 Jim Lee stuff. Some complaints about kind of that those New 52 sort of lines on it. I think a lot of people get. I know there's arguments that the costuming has to sort of look this way because just plain flat cloth looks very cheap on screen. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. It's looked okay. Sometimes they've done it. I guess it all depends on what you're going for. The high collar definitely screams a bit of that Jim Lee design, but we got the red trunks. I'll take it. We got the red trunks, and we got a decent length we got a decent length cape. I'm not the biggest fan of the Jim Lee design. This feels like it's not quite that, but guy looks like Superman to me, so I'm all in. Yeah. Obviously,
I figure the lines are more because people want to portray the idea that it's armor as opposed to just like a T-shirt.
Yeah. Well, I think the costume, this is not, the idea of a costume can look cheesy in real life. There needs to be some sort of layer texture. If
anything, the only thing I notice is like it seems like there's a lot of like scrunched up wrinkles on his shoulders, which I just meaning that the costume's a little loose around his shoulders area, which is like I mean I don't mind, but I thought it'd be like tighter on him, but that's just minor. I don't care.
Yeah. This does not look like that skin tight suit that
Cavill.
Henry Cavill had. So
yeah.
I'm okay with something human looking, right?
Yep.
Like it can look. It obviously doesn't look like normal clothes, but it doesn't have to look. It doesn't have to look like CG'd on him, right? It can look actually something he's moving around in and having normal
functional
reaction.
And real.
Yeah,
that's what
I'm
functional.
Yeah,
and real.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. The proof is when you see it in motion, but from a still, I'm in. It looks like he's got a little had a little tussle with whatever the giant fireball behind him, the little purple fireball.
Is that supposed to be Solaris?
There's an article about that today.
It's an alien jellyfish.
I mean, we know it's pulling heavy from All-Star Superman. Yeah. And I have the page at the shop from All-Star Superman with Solaris. So I'm just saying, I hope it is. God, my God. It's fucking Sun Eater in this. I'd be so happy. I love Solaris.
So are you going to have to get it signed by James Gunn?
Maybe. Is that where we go next? Yeah, maybe. He's cleaning down the cage. Yeah. I'm excited to see where they go. Yeah, I saw a lot of people be like Brainiac, and I'm like, wow, it doesn't look like it's not Brainiac. It's a ball in the sky shooting a thing. So
the colors.
Brainiac. yeah. Brainiac's like, purple.
Yeah.
I don't know. Brainiac's
cartoon.
always
It's like green. It's a green. It just depends.
Brainiac's always green. He's not purple. So,
talking about an image on a podcast. It's
yeah.
Always great radio.
But I'm in. Of course, it's Superman. Can't go wrong with Superman.
It's DC.
Maybe lose the high collar.
He's not going to lose the high collar.
Everything else is fine. Yeah, and same. A lot of people too. There was like pictures of the logo from like some of the set design, and be like, oh, it's going to be Kingdom Come, and I'm like, no, I'm going to do Kingdom Come as part of this. That was the Snyder problem. Is you don't start at the end. You get there. You can get there eventually, but you don't start there. So yeah, it's just, this looks like an evolution of the Golden Age costume logo, just sort of modernized. It's thicker. It's less. It doesn't have the little curl on the S. It's a more sleeker design.
Or they could just be putting this one as a front, and it's a completely different logo.
It could be. I assume not. I assume this is it.
Lane went to a short box thing.
Yeah, Lane, you want to tell us a little bit about that? What was I hearing from conventions? I will say, whenever I'm sitting at the computer, I'm reloading the Comic-Con hotel. Well, San Diego Marriott Mission Valley just popped up, 5.7 miles away. Not good enough. Hotel? No, Kevin. Oh, there's like 1,000 hotels have popped up in the last week. I'm no.
Okay.
I'm patient. Patient
Kevin, to the point where he has to sleep in the airport.
We all crapped out on the Comic-Con hotel lottery this year, and when the public sale went up, Kevin, Lane, and Toby all got into the same hotel, which is not right at the convention, but it's close on the trolley line and easy to get to, and so very convenient. I could not get in for hours. I could not get in. It kept kicking me out. It kept kicking me back of the line. By the time I got in, there was like nothing. So now I am in the shuffle of, well, if I'm gonna do this, I'm just gonna do this till something pops. So, like, well, good. I don't want to take a 6 hour. I don't want to take a $50 Uber every day back and forth from the other side of San Diego. So, well, I mean, I'm patient, Kevin. I'm patient. If I don't just crash with Toby, it's fine. He won't be in. He doesn't sleep anyway. I'll just steal his room.
If you save $50 in your room, doesn't it just come out even?
Some of these hotel rooms that are that far out are not that much cheaper.
Not,
like this one's $237, but I saw one earlier that was like $310 a night, and it was like 6.8 miles away or something. And I'm like,
I think some of those expensive ones, like I don't know which one that was, but some of them are like super nice hotels that are just nowhere close by. So it's not like you're being ripped off because it's the con. It's like that's around what they would charge normally, but it's just super inconvenient. So why do it?
Yeah, you should.
Couldn't you Airbnb a boat?
Yeah. I'll sleep on the beach. I'll be a beach bum. But no, we're not here to talk about Comic-Con yet. That's still a few months out. Lane, why don't you tell us about Shortbox, our newer little local con? This is year 2.
Yeah, second one. We were a little late because of Toby. No surprise.
It
doesn't matter. We weren't missing
what a
anything.
Surprise.
We didn't miss anything. I gave him the shirt. He was happy with that. And then, basically we got in there. Everybody was shopping. The artists were all in the front this time as opposed to kind of scattered around the room. They were just all lined up at the front. And guess what? The longest line of the whole con was CGC.
Of course, because that's the point of this con.
Yeah. Well, not really, but it's a big part. Everybody was doing CGC drop-offs. Man, that line was like 50 deep the whole day. So yeah, just Toby and I were basically just hit up the artists. We went and got Mike Choi first, and then we kind of wandered around, kind of missed out on a couple of people. They had to leave for panels and stuff, so we kind of took a break to have lunch. Did a little shopping. Then we went back. I got Rose Besh done. We both got something from Kelly Jones. And then we picked up the exclusive book and got it signed by Jason Sean Alexander.
Oh, cool.
And then that was pretty much it. For the most part, it was mostly because Toby got his sketch from Mike done right there at the table right away.
From who?
Mike Choi.
Oh, okay.
But then a line kept forming, and so we were trying to let people get the autographs done. But then every other person wasn't paying attention. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I want the autograph, and I want a sketch." And he's like, "No, I'm just doing autographs because these other people are in line." And people kept trying to like not pay attention. So Mike had to take like a list, and so basically he just took all of our stuff and said, "Come back later." So basically, mine was the last one done for the day.
But he did.
Yeah, he did do an amazing job, but we had to wait for the end. So basically, we just kind of like wandered around, did a little shopping, went and rested on a couple benches, and yeah. Surprisingly enough, Toby bought more than I did at the show outside of like the artist stuff.
I was gonna say I know Rosbesh was on your list, so dare I ask how much or how many? What you got? Do I not want to know?
Autographs were a little pricey. I got 22 books signed, but this is the first time that I've met her that she was actually willing to do remarks at the show.
That's cool.
I heard that she was starting, so she did a small and a large remark. And so I just said I couldn't decide, so I just do one of each, and then I just kind of let her pick which one of them. So
yeah, that's cool.
So I got a nice little Harley as the large one, and I got a small one of the Demon Days Psylocke.
Oh, nice.
Which is the one I really wanted anyway, so I don't mind.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we got the big thing for Toby is that Kelly Jones. I got an autograph, but then also Kelly Jones is the classic artist, but he's one of those few guys that is still doing free sketches. Like,
wow.
Yeah. So, and I told him, like, yeah, you should go, because we both like Kelly Jones. So Toby went up there and got one. He's really happy. And, like, that's probably his biggest thing about the whole con was it felt like the old days where you could actually get free autographs, free sketches, stuff from people who respect the people that brought him up, as opposed to just, oh, it's $10, $50, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I understand.
I understand.
Yeah, most people hear free and they're just like, cool, here's a long box.
Yeah. Because also Mike Choi doesn't charge really for his autographs also, unless you bring him like a crap ton, like, he knows you're going to flip, then he'll charge you. And then he did the poster for the show, and those were free, and he was signing and doing a little head sketch on every single one of them. So that was really cool. Probably the funniest moment, and it was kind of a joke on I guess their Instagram page too, that if you want to go to the Instagram page, you can check it out. There was a kind of a joke that we knew, but like a couple of people that went, for some reason they placed Mike Choi and Mike Cho right next to each other. So some people would go
like alphabetical or something.
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. But either way, but the funny part is some people took the flyer and went to Mike Cho to sign, and he's like, "I didn't make this."
You want him?
Yeah, but as a joke. So what he did is he would sign it because they said, we just want people to sign it. So when they brought it over to Mike Choi's like, you know what? All I have to do is add an I. It's the same signature, right? Because it's the same name.
That's funny.
So as a joke, he did one where he had Mike Cho sign one, and he just added an I to it.
That's funny. Glad you guys had fun. Yeah, Short Box is kind of a newer con, more high-end comics, CGC, artists commission. It's
it was better than year one, right? This time. Because I thought you guys had some issues with that first year. No pun intended.
Not really. I mean, the first year was the same. The only difference was just the artist. I mean, because basically the only reason for example, Kelly Jones had a really long line that year, but to be honest, that was the first year Kelly Jones has actually come out in like 5 years to a con, period. So even this year, he had about a 20, 30-minute line all through the first 4 hours, and then it kind of quieted down. Mostly because, people saw him doing free sketches. But I think last year was just that most people, like you said, Short Box is about buying and trading, selling high-end comics and CGC stuff. So all the dealers were all like slab dealers or high-end raw copies. And then you had like Doc Shaner and Mitch Gerard sitting there with nothing to do because everybody was there to buy books. And people really weren't there for the artists last year. but it seems like this year it flipped a little bit. But I would still say like the last 3 hours, 2.5 hours of show, they did kind of get like Rose had nobody, Mike Choi had nobody, but us just waiting. Mike Cho same. Like the crowd kind of was more still focused on the CGC and the high-end books. There's a lot of people just oh, I want Uncanny X-Men and all the big Spider-Man keys, and it was to be expected.
Yeah, big push for X-Men books right now because of 97.
Oh
like shot into the stratosphere. We'll see if they can stick that landing. Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I like Little Cons. It's it's local. It's here. I should go, but it's just the day after Free Comic Day, and I don't get out of bed, let alone go to a comic convention the day after Free Comic Day.
But I mean, free parking. It's very cheap to get in.
Yeah.
And it's just a chill con. Like, there's only 10 artists and like 30 dealers.
Yeah. Walk around for 10 minutes and leave.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll drop off some CGC books next year.
Yeah, if you want to drop off there, I'm sure that's a good place to do it because
and it's
at least you can just do it. Yeah, it's probably like Lynn said, the longest line, but it's better than mailing it in.
Well, and that's the reason because you cut out the shipping costs to them.
Yeah.
You cut out the shipping cost to them, yeah. And they probably just charge you a flat fee for it and stuff.
No, I don't think they don't charge you anything for that side. That's all part of their cost, I think.
Oh no! Like, don't you have to like pay for an account to be able to?
Well, you have to have an account in order to send it anyway.
Yeah, but it's a paid account to send it.
Yeah.
Yep. Even for us, even retailers, we still have to have a paid account now. It sucks.
Yeah. Well, too many submissions to flip. So.
Yep. They're now a massive company. They're now grading RPG books and VHS tapes and.
Yeah.
Get my 4-tracks. I'm gonna get my 4-track tape, my 8-track tape.
Or that Overstreet #1
graded. Yeah. Get him to grade some some trash I found on the ground. Kevin, I do have a very important correction I have to make for a previous part of this episode. So, breaking news. I'm surprised you do not correct me. Of course, that would be Solaris, the Sun Tyrant, not Solaris, the Sun Eater. The Sun Eater is a very different character.
I didn't even hear you say Sun Eater.
DC universe. I did.
Sun Eater is the one on your page, right?
Solaris. What's that?
The Sun Eater is the one on your
Sun
page.
Eater is on the page. Yeah. Solaris. The Tyrant is the Sun Tyrant is the living sun. So yes, I apologize. Must have correct.
You just saved yourself hundreds of emails.
Yeah. The replies on the YouTube video would be endless. But I do want to make that correction here. So, we hear anything on this podcast, it's accurate.
Yeah.
So
nothing,
never get anything wrong. Okay. All right. Well, that's a podcast. Speaking of podcasts, that's a wonderful podcast. Unless we got anything else. Toby's cue to jump in any second here. 3, 2, 1. No Toby.
No
so
talk
we're gonna
about
call
Free
it.
Comic Book Day.
Yeah, it's Free Comic Day. It was raining, so we did it inside. That was actually okay. It was fine.
Yeah,
people suck.
It's pretty.
You know what? Every year something happens, and I'm like, fucking Free Comic Day. This year, really didn't.
It wasn't too bad. It was just the steady flow of people.
Brock was there, and Lane was there, and guys working, helping out at the con, helping out at the Free Comic Day. I appreciate it. It was not some of the annoying things that happen regularly at Free Comic Day did not happen this year. So I like that. The crowd was good, and even though it was raining, that actually allowed us to kind of control the amount of people in the shop because we had to move everything inside for the free stuff as well.
Within the first wave, I had somebody say, "Can we look at the comics underneath?" No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The only thing we had to do is kind of shut down about half our back issues. Just
A to G, you're good. Anything past that, no.
Yeah, just because people were trying, we didn't have anywhere to put them, so pretty rare situation. But no one seemed to complain.
And I pretty much have gone to the Clerks thing where it's like, I would, but it, Clerks. We could put up as many signs as humanly possible. Nobody would read them.
I actually was thinking about putting some sort of a curtain or something over them. Trying to do something and put up. Yeah, but I have a figure and it's not worth it. But surprisingly good for Comic Day. So it's been rare. Usually it's something is like a pain in the ass, or something annoys me, and something is like, ugh. No, this is actually pretty decent. So.
Yeah, it's pretty good flow, like all day too. Like there was almost no let up.
Yeah. Well, and I think the rain. The hardcores came early and people trickled in a bit different through the course of the day. Sprinkled in. There you go. Mm-hmm. And then when it stopped raining, that kind of had another wave come in. And so, it instead of having like a massive line at the beginning that sort of subdues and then it's sort of constant the rest of the day, we actually had a pretty decent group the whole day. Never crazy busy, but never slow until like literally the last 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then it was like we were like getting ready to start kicking people out. We were closing up, and then people stopped coming in, so it was perfect timing. So yeah, if you had good Free Comic Day, hope you went out and hopefully your shop still has some stuff. If you didn't, we always try to keep some stuff left over for the regulars that come in later. That's all I got.
So the best though is after it's done, Ryan doesn't have to think about it for at least another 6 months.
Yeah, it's the longest. Well, yeah. January, I'm going to be like, holy fuck, I have to order Free Comic Day books again. God damn it. It's the worst. I'm going to get super mad about it again, and then it'll come, and it'll be like, yeah, it's fine.
Then April comes, and I'm like, fuck, I got to sort Free Comic Day books.
Yeah. Well, don't you got to get ready for Batman Day, Wonder Woman Day, and then Halloween Fest?
They only do Batman Day now. They don't do the others anymore. At least I don't think
they do them on big anniversaries.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for being here for this wonderful normal episode of the Comic Conspiracy Podcast, whatever normal means here. We are going to thank our high-tier Patreon backers. That is Edward at geekyvillain.com, Joe Duff, Kelsey May, Craig Anderson at the Executive Evolution Podcast, and Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum Podcast. Thank you all very much for your continued support. You can head over to comicconspiracypodcast.com to find all our previous episodes. If you go to comicsconspiracy.biz, you can find all of our in-store and warehouse items available for mail order and pickup. Pick up some comics in there. Not free, just normal paid comics that you can buy. And you can go to meanwhileanthology.com. We can see the anthology we all worked on for part of the store's 30th anniversary last year, along with a super cool list of big name creators that all helped on the project. So that was awesome. If you go to conspiratorBrock.com, you can see all Brock's work over there, his videos, and anything else he's working on. Our good friend Charlie has the Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast where they talk about Doctor Who and now other stuff. I hear non-Doctor Who stuff is on that podcast now. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. They're breaking out to cover other stuff from other dimensions. Kevin's weekly interview series Kevin's interview series, not weekly anymore. It's bi-weekly, twice a month. Between the panels at fanbasepress.com.
It used to be, used to be bi-weekly. It is now monthly.
It's now monthly. Yes. It was never
weekly.
Why did I have weekly written here?
I think there was like a couple of special editions where, like for Comic-Con month, we did it weekly. Okay. But that was like for 1 month. That would kill me, man. Trying to do that weekly.
Kevin has two interview series that are published at intervals that you can find if you go to fanbasepress.com and Comic Art Live on YouTube. He hosts the A Page I Love. Who did you have on recently?
Kelly Sue DeConnick is the most recent guest.
Excellent.
And coming up, well, we've got a lot of big names coming up, but I don't want to jinx it until they're actually recorded and in the can. So how about that? We'll leave it with Kelly Sue and Bendis were two recent ones.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yep, that's A Page I Love, which is on Comic Art Live.
Yeah. And you have to. There's not a separate page for that. It's in the. videos.
Yep. And my wife, Leanne, has her art at leannehill.com, and you can buy prints at etsy.com/shop/leannehillart. If you're on Blue Sky, you can follow myself. I'm Ryan Higgins. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Kevin is at Kevin Sharp. This comics store is still Comics Con store on Twitter. I post occasionally on there, not too often though. And check out Geekbox. Doing that every other week. How were we talking about last week? Oh, Final Fantasy 14. Some of the big job quests that are going on now and again. And our friends over at Manga Nation. Follow them. Listen to manga and anime. All right, one last reload of the Comic-Con hotel package. Nothing. Okay, I'm going to keep reloading this. Something will pop up. I got a few months. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Toby, I'm rooming with you otherwise. You can take the couch. I got it.
He doesn't even listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
I thought you were the one that didn't want him in the room.
I don't. That's what I'm saying. But he won't be in the room, so it's fine. I'll just change the locks. It's okay. He'll sleep on the floor anyway. Like he'll just sleep outside in the hallway. Like, he doesn't care. Sleep in a chair in the front area and wake up at noon and wander around and I don't do what the fuck Toby does at con. So, all right, that is it. We're out. Goodbye, everyone.